somebody to be a lifelong patient. And I mean, when I first start seeing on YouTube the kids who was transitioning, and then they, especially the ones who didn't want to do it after they started, that was just so heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then title, this is just like the worst thing. This just war on children. It's horrible.
Right.
I don't see how some people don't see it like I see it. They just, I know people got to go to work and got to send their kids somewhere, you know, but it come a point where somebody gonna have to quit working, daddy got to work, and you got to stay home, take care of the kids, or, you know, I couldn't just keep, mine are in their 30s, my kids. So, um, you know, if I had one in school that, you know, I had some control over, they wouldn't be in school. I got my grandchildren in school, but you know, I can't. You know, their parent
Yeah, they got
do
their
things.
parents got to be parents.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
ain't nothing I can do. Just give them the information.
Or if y'all in the same city, you can offer to be their teacher and bring them to school at your house.
Yeah, I did have them doing that, but they dating interracially, so it come a point to where the moms is like, you know, like what I got to, you know, like I don't got nothing to offer these kids, you know.
Yeah. But
So
if you homeschool their daddy,
yeah,
mm,
I did.
but you know that's the people that's conditioned by the society to believe that the government actually give a fuck about them.
Right, and they
The government
don't.
don't care about you, and as soon as you realize that they wage war against you, the faster we gonna get free.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason that
Well,
they want to feminize the boys is so we have no resistance to their oppression.
mm-hmm.
And feminize the boys, masculinize the females, right? Make the male gender become obsolete because the women can kick more ass than the men. Because the men too worried about breaking a nail or pulling out his eyelashes.
That's so sad. It's funny and
Look,
sad, but
people think it's a joke, but the gay agenda was really an agenda put together by military generals that was paid by billionaire homosexuals. These billionaire homosexuals is part of two key groups. One is called log cabin Republicans, which was high-ranking senators, congressmen, and other Republican officials who was into pedophilia. Same-sex pedophilia is the most common kind. The other group is called NAMBLA, the North American Man Boy Love Association, and they wanted to normalize homosexuality in the society because they was trying to assert themselves in order to have a means to take over. So they wanted to use the sexualizing and hypersexualizing and alternate sexualizing of the children as a way to decay the society on purpose. Yeah, Obama
that's true.
was he was a member of that
Mm-hmm.
society, those groups,
What group you said before Namla?
the
Namla?
log cabin Republicans.
Okay. Yeah, they got it set up in every
Yeah,
institution. It's
they alliance with NAMBLA wasn't because see the log cabin Republicans had access to the retired brass military, and NAMBLA had the financiers to go through the log cabin Republicans under the pretense of a lobby in order to recruit a special select group of military strategists to push their agenda. Who the hell? Let's see. Excuse me a second.
okay.
Hello? I think that's AI trying to seduce me. They keep sending me all of these calls be coming in from computers with different sexy voices. Some of them be Chinese, some be from India. And they be trying to sound all sexy in their computers. I think I done accidentally got AI to fall in love with me.
I believe it too. That AI, that's ancient intelligence. That's not artificial.
Yeah,
Something had to build matrix.
yeah. That's that's the temple science of the pyramid priests. Ain't
Mm.
nothing's new under the sun.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you
My
said,
girl Drea. Okay, sweetie, I'm gonna see if I can let somebody else up. I'm only gonna do a couple more before I end it.
okay, thanks for talking with
You're
me.
welcome, sweetie.
Nice.
Thanks for coming in.
Okay.
All right. So, sister number one,
Dang, you
got
asked
that
me fast. I wasn't ready for that.
Mississippi Clay Dirt walking, baby.
What's up?
I seen you on there glowing in the sun like a brand new copper penny.
I wasn't even ready for that. I was like, what the hell? It just happened.
How
The
you
universe
doing?
was like, bling, bling.
Yeah, we need to show them. They think that
They
anybody
need
would
to know.
do.
I guess the universe had to prove to them something because I wasn't ready. I was like, damn. It happened like that, you know? It be like that.
I wish you'd have been on here earlier, and the sister was talking about um people be intimidated by her. I told her don't be letting people make you be small so they can fit in.
Why was she
Smother
trying to
their ass.
do that?
No, because she was thinking that she had like an evil spirit with her or something.
Why? Because you know,
She the
can I say something?
reaction of
Tell you
them
that.
people being scared. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell y'all something. If you have that energy where people are afraid of your energy or your light or just your presence, that's a good thing. Because if you're one of those people that are evil or something, like people aren't going to want to be around you. They're going to automatically like dispute, like whatever they call that, like disperse from you. They're not going to want to be around you. If you have the energy that's like enlightened or like that is like lighting up a room or just like intoxicating, oh, you're gonna draw a lot of people to you. They may not like it, or they may say they don't like it. It's because they're drawn to you. So that's why they don't like it, because they're like, why am I so drawn to this person? Why is it that like I can't let this person go? Why is it that I'm so intimidated by this person? Why is it that this person makes me feel insecure or whatever? Like that's within them. That's not a you thing, that's a them thing. So if you're experiencing that in this time frame right now, in this element, that means that you're doing something right, and they're obviously not on the frequency or the path that they need to be on. That just means you're on a very high frequency, and people they can't they don't know what to do with that. They're so intimidated by that. They're so intimidated. They don't know what to do. So, and I had to learn that a long time ago, y'all. Like, it was so many people intimidated by me. Rod is like, listen, Rod is one of the guys that is not intimidated by me. Like, it's so many guys that y'all have like listened to and everything that was hella intimidated by me. He's never been intimidated by me. As a matter of fact, he was the one who reached out to me and was like, okay, we need a bill. We need a da da da. And we've always been locked in for like almost 5 years now. So I'm just letting y'all know, like, you're going to intimidate a lot of people when you are on your path, when you're on your journey, when you're doing what it is that you need to do and what you've been called to do. So don't ever let that deter you from your purpose. You just got to continue to go on your purpose. You can't let nobody deter you, or just because they're this person, they feel intimidated by you, then maybe they're not supposed to be in your life. It ain't no
That's
maybe.
what I
They
told
ain't
her.
supposed to be in your life.
I told her from my experience, when we try to make ourselves little so we can make the people that's uncomfortable stay, them end up being the one that cause us the most damn problems. Be big, smother their ass out the room, make them run like you got gasoline on their ass, chasing them with a match.
Absolutely.
Because them the ones that causes kingdoms to fall, because people trying to cater to their weakness instead of making them be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not catering to their weakness. Fuck them people. That's my motto. F around and find out.
You got something bigger here. There's something bigger you're supposed to be doing on this planet. You're not here to accommodate people. You're not here to make people feel better about themselves. You know, if they
being different, do you think that it's possible for him to observe a 25,000 year cycle? Maybe it was 100 years where he was at. So when he's saying this and he's writing this, we think he lived 100,000 years, but where he was at when he observed this, him being conscious of his multidimensional nature, it was only 100 years where he was at. So what do you think about a lot of the history we get and a lot of the books we get passed down? The time is completely different from what we perceive. We're perceiving these historical books from a 2024 perspective, when in reality, we're not looking at it from a multidimensional nature. And thought looked at this shit rise and fall in 100 years, but it was really 25,000 years Earth time. What's your thoughts on that idea in terms of us studying history from the wrong timeline, or using the wrong time reference point?
So a lot of the wrong information that we operate from was given to us deliberately.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you can control the way a person perceives reality, you can use that control in order to use their manifestation ability to work on the behalf of the reality you want them to create.
Right.
Right? Now you gotta remember, if right now we wasn't in physical form, time wouldn't exist.
Right.
How long have we been calculating time on Earth?
I don't know. Shit. How long?
On a system that was created by Pope Gregory, and every 360 days away from our birthday, we've been saying we're getting 1 year older every 365 days away from our birthday, and that in itself puts ourselves in a daze. DAZE. That's where they come up with the term days. DAYS. You see what I'm saying? It's all an illusion. And then you got the month, MON, dealing with the mana, which means moon, the moon matrix, which is an illusion. You see what I'm saying? It's all, and then you have the days make a week. You see what I'm saying? That's harvesting energy from the body, making you weak, thinking that you're getting older, believing in the illusion of time, the illusion of Maya.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
Look, if you go back, history starts with the first dynasty in Egypt. That's recorded history, and the Sumerians is contemporary with the first dynasty. But nobody's talking about the other kings list that before the first dynasty, where one king lived 100,000 Earth years. Right? Because history starts with the first dynastic period in Egypt. That's because the common practice of history comes out of the temple priest of Tahuti to record the records and knowing that the amnesia was coming. The amnesia is a side effect of the collapsing of the fourth dimension into the third. Because you're seeing two minds together at the same time. You that knocked you silly. You was delirious. But before the first dynasty, right, they not telling you the Sphinx was there almost 8,000 years before the pyramids. But that's if you use their dating systems, popularized by Sheikh Anta Diop, and what they call carbon dating. They came up with uranium dating, plutonium, all kind of dating systems. because of the consistent decay of any element can tell you how long that element has been decaying and gives you a rough age of when it was put in its current form.
Mm.
And he also used the technology of horizontal gene transfer, transmuting his consciousness into different bodies, different entities to carry out that intelligence.
They call that soul jumping.
Okay.
What's another name for that, Rob? What you said?
It's called soul jumping. Soul jump from one avatar to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And they
or essence transfer.
Or yeah. What you said?
Another word for it is essence transfer.
Essence transfer. Wow, I haven't heard that one. Wow, essence transfer.
That's what they call it in the sarcophagi. That's what the sarcophagi is.
Yo, y'all swear, the three of them, y'all see how we had three different answers all tied in together? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. What the fuck? Yo, come on, y'all. Yo, this is what I'm talking about. We're connecting the dots here tonight, y'all.
Facts.
We're connecting the dots. Three different angles of light. I'm asking the questions. Come on, like this is fire, y'all. We got
the purpose of communicating with other people is to get to see the problem from somebody else's perspective.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I think Bidel just mentioned horizontal gene transfer. That made me think about Judy K. King, the book, The Isis Thesis and Balls of Fire. One of the things that was interesting. Now, like I said, this ain't the ordinary conversation, y'all. There's gonna be you don't know what wild shit gonna be said. You don't know what wild questions gonna be asked, y'all. So I heard people say, "Look, I love this shit. I just don't know what they talk about." They're like, "I love this shit though, but I don't know what the fuck they talking about." Like this is a wild one, y'all. So just your subconscious knows what we talking about. Let me say this. Let me ask this question. Okay, so I mentioned Judy K. King. Bidel mentioned horizontal gene transfer. Judy K. King in her book talks about the microbiome in our body and the biological, everything that's happening on a cellular biological level that's going on in our body is also going on in the external world. The external world is almost a reflection of our microbiome. They also called our aura a reflection of our microbiome, a microbiome aura, almost they said. So they said, let's take, for example, because we're talking about sacred geometry, right? Big topic in the community. Let's use baseball. Judy K. King said there's a baseball game going on inside of us with ourselves, where the good guys and the bad guys competing to make it to the what they call that, home plate. What they call that? Where you go?
It's a home plate.
Yeah, so there's a baseball game going on inside of us. So this is why in our minds and why we resonate with baseball so much and popular culture, because inside we know that shit is happening right now, where people are trying to steal bases, they're trying to slide, they're trying to hit home runs, they're throwing fastballs, they're doing all types of shit. So she's saying this is why it resonates with us on a certain level. What I want to ask you is that if we're thinking futuristically and we're a new species, how beneficial would you think? And when we have all these techniques to, like we talked about the platonic solids, what do y'all think about how beneficial would it be if a baseball game is being played in our microbiome? How beneficial would it be to have a visualization board with a baseball field where the goals in his eyes we want is on the home plate or here or there? Like, should we start using visualization techniques using these popular sports that we think are just barbaric, but they're really cellular biology happening? So let's talk about using, like I said, sports for visualization techniques. How beneficial do you think that would be according to the science and teachings of Judy K. King?
You gotta remember, as above, so below. As within, so without. Right? And C. Freeman Hill did a whole lecture on what he's talking about. Everything in the external world is the reflection of your internal world. All of us is agreeing to converge, collapse the wave into this particular destination, so we all showed up. Collapsing the wave on the four-corner shuffle. Right? So now that we got the energy here, We exchanging what brings the energy to the location. We going through a dialogue and we looking at the energy that we experiencing from 4 different positions.
Right.
That means look at this from my angle and tell me what you see. I see the same thing, but the way that I describe it is a little different.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you.
Right. So now we all triangulating in. Now, regular GPS is what you call a 3-point convergence.
Okay.
You need at least 3 positions in order for you to get an exact address using GPS. Now we got 4 positions tuned in on the exact address of the GPS, Brother Rich.
Yes.
Right. So we focus in the energy. The visualizations is the training tools on how to focus the energy. You use the external object as the training mechanism to focus the mind and can gain control of how the mind uses the faculty.
Right.
You have to develop it and you can perform it. But you can't perform it until it's developed. And that's all of the mind's energy. That's your creative potentialities. It's only going to work according to the self-discipline of the person that's wielding the desired manifestation.
Got you. Facts. And let me just add before RFG or BDL adds on, I asked that question, keeping in mind that I remember if y'all watch the channel on a regular, I talked to Aaron Lyons one time. I used basketball on the regular in my imagination for as far as me asking questions. I imagine myself passing an assist to somebody who's going to score. So I use sports on a regular basis in my imagination to produce my reality. I always imagine myself being an assist man so that BDL, Rod Hazel, whoever could score the basket. So this is why I always say I'm the point guard. I'm the point guard. I'm the point guard of the gods. So just wanted to say that. But go ahead, BDL and RFG. Go ahead.
Yeah, so in order to beat the simulation, you got to treat it like a game.
Yeah.
So that's going to raise up your spiritual economics, and that's going to, raise up the frequency of the law of reciprocity. The energy that you put out has to come right back. So it's not a coincidence that, you basically like this channel, the Madison Square Garden of Consciousness, he's like the head honcho when it comes to that. So he's giving out, assists to where you got different teachers to give out certain edification. So it's not a coincidence that all this stuff is happening. So that's how I look at certain things. I look at as a way of, in order to reverse the polarity of the simulation is to treat it like a game.
Powerful.
Life is a game.
Treat it like a game. Indeed. RFG?
The game of basketball was basically created off of the movement of the stars and the solar systems in the galaxy. So like you have the spherical ball symbol, it can symbolize the sun, the moon, or the earth. And then the goal is to move it through the center of the Milky Way, which is personified by the hoop. And it symbolizes being, a thought moving from one realm to the next. You see what I'm saying? Creation, the process of creation and the multiverse. That's what the game of basketball symbolizes. So, when you said that, the correlation between the sport and trying to manifest your goals, like the game of basketball automatically popped up in my head. And the ancient Mayan, their game of basketball was, the Spaniards called it Pitz. So that's Pitz. And that's what it was based off of, like creation throughout the multiverse.
Right. Wow. So, all right, we talked about, a little earlier, we talked about time, right? We talked about, Rob, what you said?
When you go to use your analogies for basketball to explain what you're performing, right? The analogy goes into when is the first time you ever understood the concept of success that you was trying to reach? You understood it first, either observing basketball or playing basketball. You
observing it and watching somebody win a championship. That like really struck a chord with me. Watch
So
somebody
you
win the
also
championship.
begin to understand how valuable the position of point guard is on the basketball court,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And a good point guard can overcome most obstacles on the basketball court when it comes to getting the right people the ball at the right time,
Mhm.
right? So you using the analogy because that's where you understood that if you play your position, that your
There
victory is assured.
you go, Rod. There you go, Rod. Yeah, they said this deep as fuck. Yeah, I know. I know.
So
Yeah, there you go, Rod.
So you use basketball as a quasi motivator, and your understanding of basketball as a rollout plan. This is how I'm going to make this work.
Right, right.
I'm the point guard. I got to know how to get the ball from the chosen one to be there to ride so we can win this game.
Right.
Mhm.
So you put together the concept of the show. So this is you drawing up the play now. Not only are you playing point guard, but you playing coach on the floor, Isaiah Thomas.
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Supposed to ever do it,
Right.
right? But they don't want to acknowledge that because he's too outspoken about. Some of us was already here. What is you talking about?
Yeah.
That's belligerent to the social construct and the narrative that the system want to hold.
Mm.
But you can you using the basketball analogy to develop a winning formula in order for you to properly execute your plan and maintain your motivation through all 4 quarters of the development.
Mm.
Big Mama House, 4-corner shuffle.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the Vice Lords on the west side of Chicago.
Hey, facts, super facts. Oh man, this is beautiful. I want to ask another question on time, real quick, y'all. Moving forward, being a new species, we've touched on it. I think something important that RFG said was, we're counting our age, and we're saying we're a new age every year, and maybe that's making us age more than what we really are. We could touch on that. But the question I want to ask. Y'all can touch on that, but the question I want to ask before, if y'all decide to touch on that, is that let's say, because we talked about Thoth possibly living in a different dimension, or anybody living in a different dimension where time is different. So let's say moving forward, we know that in terms of our life, if we live to be 60, they say if we sleep 6 hours a day, we done slept 25 years of our life almost. That's a lot of time that we done slept in the sleep realm, that a person who wants to get shit done and build buildings and businesses or civilizations, they ain't trying to sleep that much. They trying to get shit popping. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to ask you is that, is it possible to, let's say when we go to the dream realm, for us to get 12 hours of sleep, 12 hours of mental rest within 30 minutes, depending on what realm we go to. Let's say we go to a realm where 30 minutes is the equivalent of 12 hours. So can we project our mind and say, listen, I need 15 hours of sleep tonight to be fully charged in the morning, but I'm only going to be technically be asleep for 30 minutes in this realm. Is it possible for us to go to sleep for 30 minutes in this realm and charge our body as if it was asleep for 13 hours, moving forward as a new species in the future, y'all?
That takes us back to the movie The Matrix.
Talk to me, Rod.
Okay. Neo was being instructed by Morpheus, and he went into the Matrix and had a combat session with Morpheus. When he came out, he did like this, and he had blood in his mouth.
Yep.
And Neo was asking Morpheus, how was this possible? And he told Neo, he said, the mind makes it so. The mind is what makes the body experience the reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with the placebo effect. The placebo effect, the body is healed by the agency of the mind under the pretense of being treated by a medication that's actually sugar.
Okay.
That has no bearing on the disorder whatsoever.
Indeed.
Right? So the mind makes the reality experience real, and by subtly telling yourself every year you're a year older, they tell you aging weakens. The counter to that is to convince yourself that every day I get stronger than I was the day before. The mantra is the reversal method that they use to counter the current condition.
It's like programming your avatar to accept its perceived reality. And they did a test study on this with a glass of water. I'm pretty sure a lot of you already heard about it, but they put the headphones on the glass of water and they play different kinds of music. And if it's like chaotic music and low frequency music, the water molecules will be in disarray and they won't be in synchronicity with each other. But if you play like classical music, like jazz, anything more high vibrational, the water molecules will be moving around in perfect synchronicity. And that's just, you know, like he said, the frequency of the words, the vibrations of the words, it manifests into reality, like literally. They did this with plants as well and made plants grow over 100% taller, you know, by inducing positive frequencies into the plant itself. That's why it's so important to, you know, only surround yourself with people that are on the same life path as you and have, you know, shown actions that they're on the same life path as you. You know,
facts.
Yeah, that's you know, that's very imperative, because considering the fact that, you know, the atmosphere is transducing into an omicron based state, so we got to tap into light language to where we're no longer subjugated by connotative linguistics of the English language. So like I told Brother Rich before, when you start to tap into, you know, other realms of, you know, tonal languages, those octave vibrations have the ability to manipulate that.
Yeah, indeed. So in terms of the age, is that something, because I started out by briefly mentioning us counting our age. Should we stop doing that shit? Is that something that's outdated? You know how voting is like, we're like, all right, that shit is like, come on, y'all, that shit is useless at this point. With who's Trump and Kamala.
The singer Prince, the late singer Prince, he tapped into that form of alchemy that literally stopped his body's aging process. And I think that's part of the reason why they did away with him.
What do y'all think? Is that something we should stop doing, y'all? Ron and Peter, celebrating them, counting, and I'm 45, I'm 46, I'm 57.
Yeah,
I just say Earth years.
Okay.
I think I'm stops to celebrate my birthday.
Be there like fuck that.
I just look at it as another day, but you know, it's another way to stay balanced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't give too much to the material plane.
Indeed. So I was watching before the show, I was watching you know, just coming up with questions, watching several videos, getting ideas. I seen there was an interview Rod Hayes did with the brother Young Elder, and I seen somebody comment on the video, and I'm gonna read it. It says every superhero that was ever created in the comics. This is from Sean Terrence, so let me give him a shout out before he be like, "Yo, you ain't give me a shout out." Shout out to Sean Terrence. He said every superhero that was ever created in the comics has a power source. Their powers came from something. Us original beings, power source is the sun, and creating things, that's where our power comes from. Let me ask you, what is our power source? Because some people say it's the sun. Is it a central sun? Is it a Sirius sun? Is it the black sun? There's like 1,000 suns right now. Where is our power source emanating from when we got to plug in, where we could get all that mother effing power and be the best version of ourselves that we could be?
Oh, you can go.
Well, I say that is being drawn from the etheric network of the dark matter energy of the black sun.
Okay.
Because I did on my latest transmission, I was basically breaking down how the black sun is basically the emulation of Superman. So now when you look at the color spectrum of the three suns of Utu, Apsu, and Shamus, those three suns that's connected to the Sirius star constellation is basically an emulation of the color spectrum of Superman's garments, because he draws in the plasma energy. So black absorbs all frequencies of colors. Red sun, blue star, or what you call it, red star Kachina, blue star Kachina. All these energies have the ability to create a tetrahedron, which basically gives it the ability to create time dilation or interface transition within everything in third density. So that means that the more we tap into our power, the more we absorb these energies, the more that we're able to manipulate as far as this fixed position reality that we're living in. So that's why the great majority of all the superheroes, they have the heart chakra was basically in conjunction with the Superman logo. When you're talking about the serpentine energy with the pyramid in it or whatever, it's really just basically talking about the extraction of dark matter energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was thinking along the lines, if we're cells of the earth, our power source, our main power source would definitely be the inner sun. Now, whether that is a black hole sun or a red sun or a yellow sun, at this point I'm unaware of, but I know for a fact that it is a mass producer of dark energy, etheric energy, and radiation, and that energy that's coming from the inner sun inside of the earth is literally supposed to be charging our bodies up every day. And at one point on this earth, before the current moon was in our orbit, we didn't have to eat. All we did was just charge our bodies up like batteries and just, keep going.
That's a fact. I remember Rod told me, I think you told me, you said Lilith is a black sun. That's Big Mama, right?
Yeah, Lilith it's the moon of Saturn now.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Before the Anunnaki wars that blew a chunk of the earth off, then it was the dominant body in the night sky. And you couldn't you seen the silhouette, and it kind of looked purple when you look at it, but all of the plants had like fluorescent colors, just like when you go to the club under the black light. It was something like that in nature under the Lilith moon. They tell it to us in the Hebrew mythology of Lilith rebelling against Adam. Right.
Okay.
But remember, Adama means earth. So the Lilith rebelling against the earth was them reiterating the war that separated Lilith from the earth. And now they have to give us Luna to replace her. Commonly called Eve, Hawa, the tribal mother. Right? So they come in with a different frequency. Under the dark moon Lilith, the women could control their menses. Under Luna, she's going to give them one whether they want it or not every 28 days. So now she no longer has the control over the cycles of birth. They're controlled by an outside source, and this is what makes the pregnant woman a lunatic. It's the count of the clock of the moon over the menses that's ticking. Her response is biochemical, what they call raging hormones. Right. So the description of the lunatic is somebody who can't control themselves due to some kind of rage going on internally. Right. So this is where all of these mythologies come from that's been weaved into modern times as if it doesn't have an ancient reference point. The powerhouse of the biology of this meat suit is the mitochondria. The mitochondrial output is at its highest when a man finds a woman that loves him unconditionally. She overcharges, she turns him all the way up. and allow him to have higher access to parts of himself he was unaware of prior. And that's why when you fall in love, you act like a lunatic.
Mm.
You do not behave according to your common behavioral patterns from before. You alter now.
Right, right,
Because the chemistry that comes with turning the mitochondria up allows you to see clearly things you didn't see before.
Mm.
Remember, DNA is crystals.
Fact.
Mm-hmm.
The crystals is absorbing the different lights according to frequency from the different stars you see in the sky. And this is why everything within us is a reflection of what's going on outside of us.
Mm.
If your mitochondria turn off, you will not have no energy.
Facts.
And that means you're going to eventually wither away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so when you look at the source of mitochondrial energy, it's all coming from a projection that you was tied to called the silver cord in utero.
Mm-hmm.
And the golden cord is when you can activate all four chambers of the brain, and now you will connect back to the Father, the Son. The Son is going to send in UV rays that's going to carry codes that's going to alter the DNA according to what the crystals told it. It's going to be filtered from the earth and fed back by the collective of Schumann resonance. And then the sun going to answer the earth with another solar flare.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Right? But when these Schumann resonance alter weather patterns because of energy frequencies going through atmosphere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then you see it play out in the 3D world as storms.
Mm-hmm. Makes
Right?
sense.
So now you still getting the same data through the silver cord as long as you connect it to the mitochondrial power source. You always connected to your mama.
Mm-hmm.
No facts, Rod. Rod, you mentioned love. I want to talk to y'all real quick. I did a show with a gentleman named Robert Edward Grant, and I showed him a study. There's a study going on the internet right now, and it talks about how there's machines that can measure human emotions leaving the body, and the power of the amplitude or the power of the emotion leaving the body. And surprisingly, there's so much talk in the spiritual community about the power of love, and the universe is made of love. Surprisingly, through this study, the emotion that was more powerful than love was authenticity. So what I want to ask you is, what would be your advice on, and Rod mentioned earlier, we each have a different frequency. I forgot what I asked, but Rod started talking about we each have a different frequency. That meaning we all each are different. We each have something authentic, unique about us. What would be your advice, all of y'all, for the people of enhancing their individual frequency of authenticity so that they could tap into this most powerful emotion according to the study in the world?
Well, one thing you got to understand is that the heart in itself is a fraction.
In a way, authenticity can be considered love.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because if we love ourselves, we're going to be 100% authentic with ourselves. If we love somebody else, we're going to be 100% authentic with them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Rod, you want to close it out?
So you got something called the true self, and you got something called the false self, commonly called the ego.
Mm-hmm.
The love energy is required to get to the true self.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that makes your heart happy is the stuff that focuses that frequency that you are calling authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from opening the heart with the energy frequency of the love.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you get to see yourself for the first time for who you truly are.
Right.
It's the culmination of the shadow work, the getting rid of all of the negative traits. right? And as you do that, that's called the purification of the ego.
Mm.
Once the ego has been purified, the authentic self can then operate the avatar authentically.
Right, right,
That means that you now, everything you do is coming from what they call the true place.
right,
Felt conversation, straight from the heart.
right.
A whole different brain than the one in your head. Right? You got three major brains: the brain, the heart, and the intestine.
That's right.
Rod, I like to use real life examples because that shit, it hit hard for us. So we're learning, and I'm asking these questions, and you're giving these brilliant answers. But if I can ask a certain question, and that should have hit. So let me ask a question. All right, Rod, we know Rod Hayes is unique. Everybody is unique. B-Dale's unique. RFG is unique. Rod Hayes is unique. Every single interview, Rod Hayes is lighting a spliff. He's the chief. Rod Hayes is the chief. He's chiefing every show. Rod Hayes is chiefing the whole show. Now let me give you a real scenario, Rod Hayes. Let's say that's the authentic Rod. He had the light right now. Rod Hayes had the light one right now. So let me give you the real life example of this. How does shit go down in this realm outside of this? Let's say Rod Hayes is a part of an organization. You reference, let's say, somebody you admire, you look up to, Malachi Z. York. Now, Malachi Z. York say, Rod Hayes, I don't want you chiefing while you speaking. Now, the chiefing takes away from who you are. Rod Hayes, do you follow the man who you look up to and the organization you are part of and stop chiefing? Or do you decide to go on your own, chief, to be your authentic self? This is the shit we are faced with outside of studying and reading shit in a book. Real life example, Rod Hayes, what are you going to do, my brother?
Well, I'm going to be still chiefing. And the reason why is...
Even if you kicked out the organization.
Look, the reason why is the organization not going to kick me out because I'll leave first. Because I won't be disrespectful to the organization I'm part of.
Okay.
Right? As being in growth and development, we ain't told we can't smoke. That's not part of our doctrine.
Okay. Okay.
Right? But it gives the allowance for the tobacco chief to express himself openly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got a lot of people in the conscious community. Oh, these girls wearing weed. You invented it. You invented it. The first people to wear wigs was us. We invented it. So naturally, if they're being naturally following what's in their DNA code, they will be attracted to it in order to do what the elders created it for.
Right.
To alter the appearance, because you don't want to always look the same all the time.
Right.
Right. In olden times, that was called shape shifting.
Deep, bro.
Right. They call it in modern times master of disguise. But nevertheless, the royal families did it. They done it to entertain and to put some pomp and glory to their positions of authority.